Hello and welcome again to another segment of Interviews That Matter. Friends, in this segment, we bring those guests who influence our lives. This includes elected officials, policymakers, and heads of the organizations and other dignitaries. It is my sincere hope that with the shared knowledge by these people, that our community gains advantage of it. Today, we have such guest who is the Regional Administrator for the U.S. Small Business Administration Region 2. And his name is Jorge Silva Puras. Welcome, sir. Welcome
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me in your program. It's a pleasure to be here.
Could you please tell us what is Small Business Administration and what is its functions?
Sure, absolutely. The Small Business Administration was created in the 1950s by the federal government to help to support the small business community in the U.S. Okay. Originally, it started as an agency that helped small businesses tap into the possibility of getting contracts with federal government. Mm-hmm. But it evolved into an agency that offers services in three major areas, what we call the 3 C's.
Okay.
Capital, counseling, and contracting opportunities.
Okay.
And we can cover all three in detail if you want. The capital one, I think, is probably one of the most critical elements of any business. You cannot grow, you cannot expand unless and until you have access to capital,
right.
To hire more employees, to make investments in your facilities, to purchase inventory, etc. And as you know, getting credit, getting capital has been a little bit difficult, particularly in the last few years,
right.
Given the financial crisis. And that's where SBA steps in. The SBA guarantees the commercial loan that you obtain from a commercial bank. So let's imagine that you are in a business that wants to grow, wants to expand. You need a loan of, let's use an example, $500,000, $500,000.
Right.
You can go to your banker, one of the SBA certified bankers or one of the banks that works with us, and you can find a list of that in our internet page, sba.gov. You go to that banker and you request a loan that has an SBA guarantee. Well, we would provide a guarantee that is up to 85% of the loan.
Oh, okay.
So the risk for the bank is much lower, obviously, because they only risk 15% of the amount of the loan, and that makes the decision to grant the loan an easier one for the bank.
Right.
So that's where we stepped in when the financial crisis started. President Obama approved a law that gave more incentives, more resources to the SBA. And we actually grew to record numbers. We have a portfolio of close to $30 billion right now.
Wow, $30 billion.
So, yeah, when some banks were not lending, we were definitely very active. And the guarantee proved very helpful, very, very helpful for entrepreneurs.
Yeah, actually, you were right because, listen, I myself used the SBA guarantee in, buying this building actually.
Yeah.
Buying my own building, I got 504 loan, which was like, 50% SBA guaranteed, 40% bank, and 10% myself. So I'm a proud owner of my own building.
Well, the 504 is one of our best capital access programs. And the reason why I say that is because it allows many entrepreneurs like you to purchase the building, the commercial facility where they operate.
Right.
So we have seen many cases in which an entrepreneur who's actually or currently leasing decides to purchase the building using 504, and they end up paying less for the mortgage than what they were paying for the lease.
Makes perfect sense.
And it's their facility, it's their building, they capitalize on it. So it's definitely a great program that we offer at the SBA. Again, you can find information on it at sba.gov, and it's called the 504 program.
What are the other programs that you can, describe us?
Sure. There are 2 additional capital access programs that we are very, very proud of. One of them is called 7A.
Okay.
7A is a guarantee program that I was explaining before.
Oh, okay.
I can go as low as you want and as high as $5.5 million.
Oh, okay.
So it covers small and not so small businesses, as a matter of fact. So you can, and actually that was a change that President Obama made recently. He increased the maximum from $2 million to $5.5 million, so almost tripled in some instances. If you're a manufacturing facility or a manufacturing company, you can tap into 5.5. The third program, which I think is really important for startups, is our micro-lending program. That used to be capped at $35,000. It was increased to $50,000 by the president, and now is one of the best tools for, particularly in high tech, for younger entrepreneurs who want to start their businesses on the internet, etc. I mean, they don't necessarily require an extensive amount of capital. So $50,000 via microlender, it's a great way to get started, and that is at very good rates. So we definitely are looking at an increase in the number of companies that are using the product.
So micro lending is again works the same way. You go to the bank and then they would.
Yeah, we have micro lenders certified by the SBA.
Okay.
We actually lend that micro lender money at very favorable rates so that they can in turn lend it to the entrepreneurs. And again, there's a list of micro lenders in our website. Actually, if you just enter your zip code on the website, you can find all the local resources.
Okay.
You can find counselors, you can find the SBA office, you can find the SBDCs, you can find lenders, etc.
So who would be qualified for this? I mean, anybody who wants to start a new business or what?
Any business that has a certain criteria in terms of size and that is within certain sectors. Most of commercial sectors apply. The only exceptions are real estate development companies, insurance companies, finance companies. But in the immense majority of cases, it applies if you qualify based on size. So if you do not exceed, for example, 500 employees, you could, depending on your industrial sector, qualify as a small business. So you can imagine, I mean, 500 employees is a fairly large number. So
large number, right.
More than 90% of businesses in the tri-state area qualify as a small business by our size standards. So it's available to many entrepreneurs. What we're trying to do is share the information about the programs because it's not as well known, and that I think it's critical, your program and many other programs, to spread the news in terms of the services.
I actually forgot to ask you, but I think your region 2 covers tri-state area.
Yes, it covers New York, New Jersey, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Oh, okay.
So
New York, New Jersey, Puerto Rico, and Virgin Islands.
And USVI, correct.
Okay.
It's a big region in terms of number of businesses. There are 2.7 million small businesses in the region.
Wow. Okay.
Over $6 billion in SBA guaranteed loans in the portfolio. So it's an important region for the agency.
Very good, very good. And the second C is counseling?
Yeah, the second C is counseling. Obviously, capital is critical, but as important as capital is having good command of your business, management command of your business. So we offer that service as well via intermediaries that we finance or that we sponsor. One of them is the Small Business Development Center. We have several across the state, both in New York and New Jersey, and as well as Puerto Rico and U.S. Virgin Islands. There's some right here in Long Island. And those offer counseling at no cost to the entrepreneur. So let's imagine you're building a business or you're creating a business. You have an idea of the business. You have maybe drafted an initial business plan. You can go to that counselor and he or she will sit down with you one-on-one, look over the business plan, improve the business plan, give you advice in terms of how to develop your business, prepare you for the lender interview if you're going to request a loan, help you with your marketing plan. I mean, the number of services is quite broad. Many of them have MBAs and very well experienced, so it's a really good source of counseling advice. The same thing with SCORE, which is our arm of volunteers, counselors who volunteer. Many of them have retired from senior management positions, so they are very experienced.
Right.
And they sit down with you, again, at no cost to the entrepreneur and teach you the ropes of the business. And if you're in a particular industry or sector, you can find a counselor who comes from that sector.
Oh, that
so you
helps.
get the experience not only of management, but also management of that particular company or that particular industry.
And this is all free of cost.
It's all free of cost to the entrepreneur.
the entrepreneur.
The third group is the Women Business Center.
Okay.
And there's several across the state as well. And they provide the same counseling services as the SBDCs and SCORE, with a focus on women entrepreneurs, but they also accept men, so it's not exclusively for women.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So it's called women.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah, and obviously, you also have other programs like 8A and minority-owned firm, and
Yes.
we are actually our viewers are South Asian community.
Yep.
Right. So can you tell us about that a bit?
Absolutely, and that's the third C.
Right.
That's contracting.
Contracting, right.
To be more specific, is the ability for a small business to tap into what is the biggest purchaser of goods and services in the world, which is the U.S. government.
Right.
In the last fiscal, the number of contracts or the number of products or services bought by the government exceeded $500 billion, $500 billion.
Wow.
Of that, the SBA has a goal of ensuring that 23% of all those contracts go to small businesses.
23%.
So if you do the math, it's over $100 billion.
Wow, that's huge.
In opportunity.
Yeah.
Now, within that sector, we also have the ability to help minority-owned companies or economically disadvantaged companies, I should say, or women-owned businesses or businesses owned by disabled veterans.
Okay.
And how do we help them? By a program that certifies them as one of those business owners,
Right.
which includes a number of set-asides. So, for example, if you are an economically disadvantaged business owner, you can get certified as an 8A firm. That would allow you to compete for certain contracts that go exclusively to 8A firms.
Okay.
So that makes the possibility of obtaining a contract much higher than if you were not so certified. So you go to the SBA, you present the evidence that you qualify for the program, you become certified, and then you have 9 years to obtain contracts under the 8A certification. Then you graduate. The expectation is that over 9 years you have had the opportunity to present your product, your service to the federal government. They get to know you, get to know your product, get to know your capability, and once you graduate, you continue doing work for the federal government, as I believe is the case with your company. So
absolutely, I owe a lot to SBA basically, and I have taken advantage of 8A program. I graduated about 10 years ago, but I still do business with federal, state, local government. So you continue to do that. Now, people are many times, they're afraid of really, government contracts, obviously, like they're afraid of this too much work, too much paperwork, too much bureaucracy. Is there a way that, like this administration has kind of reduced that burden?
Yes, yeah, we continue to reduce the burden in terms of applying or participating in federal contracting opportunities. We're using a lot more technology now. The internet is a great tool. Our counselors are experts at the contracting area, so they can also sit down with you, again at no cost, and teach you what it means to become an 8A certified firm or a HubZone certified firm, and how to identify contracting opportunities by going to one of several websites like Federal Business Opportunities, FBO.gov, and that's a website that lists all the contracts that the federal agencies are presenting to potential contractors. Also gives you a history, so you can see in your industry which agencies are purchasing which products and services. So it also is a very good research tool to determine where you have opportunities for federal contracts. And again, you can do that online, or you can do it with one of our counselors.
Right. I think, it's like mostly people, small businesses, they're so focused on their own business and their own, this is something that, extra they have to do, but then to reap the benefit for the future, they probably have to invest some time into this.
Absolutely. It's one thing is to become certified. The other thing is to create the environment and market your products or your company and create the relationships that go with good marketing campaigns and good marketing plans. You need to make yourself known by the agencies. Do research. We have help.
Right.
We can provide help for that research, but you need to do that research. You need to do the marketing. You need to contact the agencies and the personnel within the agencies that does the contracting. It obviously requires work, but if you do it well, you can be very, very successful and grow your company exponentially, because the size of
the market is huge.
Of the amounts that the government contracts is significant. So it can be a very good growth opportunity for your business.
Yeah, so like 8A certification is kind of a entry point into the huge market potential that you may have.
Yeah.
And then you kind of go into that market, and then you try to, obviously, business is what? Who you know, basically. Then you have to really get to know your customers, and you have to do your own work, taking the advantage of this certificate, basically.
Exactly. It's not enough to get the certification.
Right.
That's just the first step in the process.
Step, right. Yeah.
Then comes the really interesting part, which is how to market your company.
Yep.
But we have seen many success stories that started as a one-man or woman operation and grew to multi-million-dollar companies by becoming certified and providing services to the government.
I agree with you. I've taken myself, I've done it that way. So, but then you continue to work because now you know the space, you know how to work with them and how they know you. So obviously you can continue your relationship that way and continue to work for them. And federal government is a faucet. Water always keeps coming in. There is no stoppage in the water over there.
Well, the other thing that it does is it provides you with the experience, the expertise, and the know-how to also tap into contracting opportunities with the private sector.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one thing leads to the other. And again, our intent is that over 9 years, you graduate and are able to do not only government, but private sector work.
Right. And you have other program called Mentor Prodigy program, right?
We do. For example, let's take a company that has grown in size after graduating from the 8A program, and is interested in helping smaller companies that just became certified.
Okay.
Well, you can become a mentor company to that protege company, and you share in terms of the contracting project or opportunity, and it's a really good program for both the new 8A as well as the graduating firm, because you can continue doing work for the government by helping younger companies to grow.
So the process of getting certification is trimmed down a lot, I guess,
Yes,
right? It's not a huge, cumbersome process where you have to really go through 100 different forms to fill out and all that.
Actually, most of the information is online. You can find a lot of it online, the application and the criteria. Obviously, you have to demonstrate that you meet the criteria. But once you do, and once you provide all the documentation, it should go relatively, what we expect, relatively quickly. So to get certified and start doing business with the government.
Which is, in your mind, which is the industry that is the most successful in an 8A program? It's like, I believe it's, which industry you think of?
Well, although the government purchases everything from paper clips to aircraft carriers and everything in between, the reality is that certain sectors are growing faster. As you can imagine, technology is an area that is growing very fast. Healthcare, professional services, counseling services, consulting programs and services, products that are related to the Department of Defense, obviously, given that we're in a war, it's an area that is growing. But it's very, very diverse. Services, products, we're purchasing all the time.
And in our area, like, mostly, I mean, construction is a huge thing too.
Absolutely.
Right?
Construction, engineering, design.
Right.
With the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, there's been a significant investment in infrastructure, and a lot of that infrastructure can definitely go to 8A certified firms or firms that do business with or have been certified to do business with the government.
How long it takes to get certified?
Depending on how prepared you go to that first application.
Okay.
If you have all your documents ready, it can be a few months to get certified.
Okay.
But it all depends on how prepared you are and whether you have all the documents required. But again, go to one of our counselors and they can provide you free advice in terms of what documentation you need, what is the process like, what you need to do, and they will definitely be of immense help to you.
Our viewers are South Asian, people from South Asia, right? And we are also considered as a minority in this country. And do you, what is this, like in your portfolio? I mean, is there a success ratio that from South Asian people from South Asia rather?
Oh yeah, very successful. As a matter of fact, it's a growing segment of the entrepreneurial population, particularly in the IT segment. Very, very successful. And I think there is a big potential. For example, in the state of New York, the SBA just granted a significant amount of money for the promotion of exports. Okay. And the focus of the state is in the Asian markets. So if you have a company, if you're from Southeast Asia, have contacts in your country of origin, and want to export your product there, you can tap into this resource. It's called the STEP program.
Oh, okay.
And it's financed by the SBA. Okay. And again, exporting is another very, very viable way to grow your business. And if you already have the contacts in your country of origin, it makes that relationship go much farther. So we definitely are encouraging exporting of products and services.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, I think this is our time is almost over. And do you have any last word that you want to talk to the viewers?
What I would say is, if you have an idea, if you have the intent or the interest in becoming an entrepreneur, it's a fascinating world. A lot of challenges, of course. It's not easy to start a business.
Yes.
But if you do it right, you will be very successful, and the satisfaction of growing your own business, as you probably can tell, is one of the best experiences you can have. So go to the SBA. We provide services on all aspects. If you need money, we can help you with that. If you need counseling, we can provide you that. If you want to work or do work for the government, for the federal government, we can help you with that as well. SBA.gov, and we have all the resources available there.
Well, thank you so much for coming today, and again, thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, comments, email me at rajmitv@gmail.com. Again, it's rajmitv@gmail.com. Until next time, see you.